What's up, everybody? This is Gina Ifoe, the one and only African superstar. I'm here back at it again, live streaming tonight. Big shout outs to the customers of the Afrikansuperstar.com. It's coming up on the Christmas season. So you guys, if you are shopping with me for the holidays, which we have high quality products, head over and place your order soon. That way you'll be able to receive them before the Christmas and New Year's season. Big shout outs to the African Superstar family. Please make sure you like this stream and get involved in the conversation. Today I want to talk about diasporans should anticipate cultural differences. Now, obviously you guys know I have a social media presence: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I now have a TikTok. And so I see different topics and I see different stories, and I see, posts on Facebook from other diasporans that have migrated to the continent, living on the continent. I also saw a video from Afro Millennial Mama. Is, a lady who moved from California to Senegal with her husband and their daughter. And, she's been sharing some of those cultural differences. So I want to talk about anticipating cultural differences. I think people from the West do not do a great job of this, especially in regards to the continent. Now, they know when they're going to Japan, they know when they're going to Latin America, they know when they're going to like France or Germany. They understand that, okay, these are different countries with different languages, different food, different cultural norms. And in many cases, there will be a preparation that goes in. If any of you guys have ever done like foreign exchange programs or something like that, or you were learning a language, when you got ready to travel to that foreign land, you prepared yourself for that foreign land. And what I'm seeing is a lot of my peers are not doing that preparation. Okay, they're coming here to the continent and they begin to compare, Africa to the Western environment they're coming from. They begin to critique and complain and analyze and all these things when it comes to the continent. And that's why I'm telling you, it's wise for you to anticipate cultural differences, okay? I don't think that we, as Black people, do a great job of this. What's up, guys? If you're here, say something in the chat room for me. Make sure you like the stream. My moderator should keep me updated on the like count. We'll open up the call lines to hear from you guys on this topic. We don't do the necessary preparation when it comes to the continent. And I think that's also what's leading to like frustration and burnout and people leaving prematurely. Is like they had a romanticized version of the continent in the first place. They've been seeing whatever they've been seeing. They know whatever they think they know. And then they get here and it's not necessarily like that. And then they're just like, they burn out quick. Now, if you, for instance, as an American, move to Russia, okay, the Russians are going to be speaking Russian. Big shout outs to you. Thank you so much for being the first in the chat room. For instance, I know that Afro Millennial Mama, I brought her up. Shout outs to her. She's another content creator here. Making dope content out of Senegal, building a home out there, and kind of sharing that. She talked about, the challenges of being in a foreign country, not always being able to communicate. That's something you need to think about when you're going to a country where maybe English is not the first language. I mean, it's something you should think about, period. Because even in countries where English is the primary language, people are speaking other languages, they're speaking dialects and things like that. Learning a language is going to be an asset to you in that land that you're going to. If you are preparing your migration to the continent, learning the language should be something that maybe you are investigating right now. It's part of your preparation. It will make life easier. A lot of us have heard the stories, for instance, of diasporans getting you know, scammed and stuff here. Okay, you don't know the language. You know, think about it from the perspective of someone who's here. You're an easy target. You know, I mean, honestly, some people are coming here, they don't know anything about the country, they don't know language, they don't know cultural norms, they don't know the demographics. I mean, it makes you an easy mark because basically you got to depend on some third party to facilitate everything because you have not taken the initiative to ready yourself. Now, on the other hand, no matter how much time you spend preparing and readying yourself, you cannot fully 100% be ready. Big shout out to my members only who are represented by that circle next to their name. Hi, Lorne. I see you there. Big shout out to the African Superstar family. Please hit the likes. Don't be shy. I'm talking about this topic. I think this is very important for those of you planning to come here. Do some legwork. Because if we want to be honest, you come to the continent completely unprepared. Okay. And then you have the experience that you have. Would that be Ghana's fault? You know, I gave the example on a previous video of a lady who traveled to Ghana with several children and no visas prepared. Just hopped on a plane. I believe she was coming from Senegal or Gambia. And she didn't like it there. She decided, okay, I'm just going to go to Ghana. Okay. You traveled to Ghana and you don't have your visas worked out. And then they say, well, we can't let you in. Is that Ghana's fault? Or is it your fault? Because you didn't do the research. You know, we have to take some responsibility, guys, in terms of our progress here on the continent. You know, we need to come and be serious and prepared. You know, and not just kind of winging it. And if you are not a traveler, and if you don't know the information, then get it somehow. You know, you can begin to acclimate yourself to the continent during the process. You know, there was a time that I didn't know the continent. You know, I was like a lot of you guys watching Dynasty, watching Wodamaya, watching Afro-American in Africa. You know, and I was just like, the reality of being on the continent, living on the continent, it was so far-fetched for me. Now, many years, fast forward ahead, 5 years ahead, I can now talk about these things. I now have a command of the knowledge, okay? But it was something that I did actively to get to this point. And I'm telling you, if you do it, if you make it a priority in your migration plan, you will be more successful. That's just it. You know, but you can't get mad at the country when you have come ill prepared and things start happening to you as a result because you didn't take any initiative. Because like I mentioned at the beginning of this broadcast, when we go to Asia or we go to Latin America or even Europe, you know, or those of you from Europe going to America or wherever, you know, you prepare yourself for that. I think, for instance, it's highly unlikely that someone would travel to like China without some kind of understanding of where they're going to be, organizing a translator, organizing a tour guide, watching some videos, maybe trying to learn some Mandarin. I would find that extremely hard to believe, but we are perfectly okay to do that coming to the continent. We're perfectly fine. We're ready to pick up and actually move to countries without doing a stitch of any kind of legwork. Please anticipate cultural differences when you come here to the continent. Okay? It's normal. You didn't grow up here. Okay? Don't also beat yourself up because you don't know. You know, you don't know all the connotations. You know, you hear someone say a word, like for instance, here in Ghana, big shout outs to all my Ghana folk. I'm going to do shout outs in a minute, so please leave me any comments in the chat room. Big shout outs to our members only. represented by those circles next to their name. I will start shout outs in a minute. So here in Ghana, there is something called Onapo. You guys may have heard me mention Onapo on several occasions. Onapo was actually a campaign song during the 2016 campaign, and it basically means in the comfortable lead. So the president that was in office at that time, John Mahama, he was very, very confident that he was going to win the election. So he hired some musicians and they came up with this campaign slogan song called Onapo. Okay. And there was also big shout outs. This will be funny. Let me see if I have one around. Big shout outs. This one's from my Ghana folk, if you're in the building. This was also a popular campaign, item. It's called calipo. And this is a fruit juice here in Ghana. And basically during the election, Nana Addo, who is the current president for the MPP, he was drinking this. And so all the MPP supporters were taking pictures and posting them on Facebook with the calipo. Okay, so you have the Onapo. You have, the Onapo would probably be for the NDC, which is the party of the previous president, John Mahama. And so these are the kind of things that you as someone new coming here may not know. So if you see a calipo, you wouldn't think about that. Now, a Ghanaian person will understand what I'm saying. They may have taken those pictures, they may have remembered that, or remember Onapo, remember, that whole thing. These are things that I have learned delving into Ghanaian culture and life. Okay. Another popular thing that I do is I read billboards. Okay. I will be in traffic. Shout out to everybody who's been to Accra. Anybody who's been to Accra, let me see a number one, because y'all know about that traffic in Accra. Okay. Big shout out. Anybody been to Accra, Ghana, you've seen that traffic. Okay. So when I'm in traffic, I will be looking at the billboards. Okay. And I'll ask my boat driver, or I'll text a friend or something. Hey, what does this mean? Or send a picture. If I'm not doing the pronunciation correctly, take a picture and say, hey, what does this mean? What does this, the tense mean? Sometimes one word used in one sentence is different, and so on and so forth. These are things that you can do to help yourself get acclimated. Another thing is here in Ghana, we have trotros, okay? Trotros are the public transportation here. Trotros always have messages on them. And so I will be reading the trotros, trying to know what it means. Yesterday I saw a trotro with the word in casa on it. Okay. So I text, my guy, and I said, hey, what does in casa mean? And he said, don't complain, or don't talk, and so these are some of the things, in regards to language. Another way to help you with the cultural differences is music. If any of you guys have been to a party, for instance, I know when I was in university, and, my university was primarily non-Black, sometimes I would end up at parties with, non-Black people. And basically they would be playing music that I have never heard in my life. And it's a real weird feeling when you're in a room and you are just disconnected. Music is another huge way that I have been able to learn about Ghana, and keep up with current events. It also makes you feel in the know. So if you go to a Ghanaian event, you go to a party or a wedding, and you hear a popular song, you can also join in with your Ghanaian brothers or sisters, or your Nigerian brothers and sisters, or your Kenyan brothers and sisters. These are the kind of things. Start in your environment where you are to start developing your knowledge of the continent, because there will be cultural differences. Okay, some of you are naive and stupid. I'm sorry. You think just because we all share, DNA, lineage, skin color, that you know, all skin folk is kinfolk, and that's not true. Cultural barriers are real, you know, and if you want to lessen that cultural blow to yourself, you know, you travel to a new country, you feel like an alien, you feel like you are isolated, then you got to do your legwork. Most of us, a lot of us, you know, the majority of my channel is over 30, which means you are migrating at a point in life where you've probably finished university. Some of you guys are married, have children, you know, you have your own businesses, you have careers. A lot of the things that you can participate in that you initially build networks, such as going to school, playing sports, you know, being at a university, all that stuff. You've already gone beyond those stages, which means for you to be able to integrate here, you're going to have to make a concerted effort to make, you know, acquaintances here and to get to know your environment, because it's different. When you go to a city, for instance, when I moved from Columbus to Cincinnati, which is the place I went to university, you know, there was lots of university kids coming. We was all trying to learn the campus, learn the city, you know. Now, when I moved to the UK, you know, I had to figure out the city. I was not in school. I was just working. I was just living there. You know, same thing goes for the continent. So do anticipate cultural differences. Okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead and start with the shout outs. Please, if you want to be greeted, leave your message in the chat room. Also, please make sure you like the stream. Don't forget you can support the stream. Today, we're talking about cultural differences. Okay. Adequately prepare yourself for the continent. That way, you don't have to fail when you get here. You don't have to feel out of place, out of pocket. You know, obviously, there are parts of being here that you will never alleviate because, you know, you spent decades in another country. But you can work to make your transition smoother. Also, if you're abroad and you start traveling here and you start frequenting here, that also helps with the cultural differences because you begin to get familiar. You know, when you land at the airport, you know, I know when I first came to Ghana, a friend picked me up from the airport. Okay. Now it's to the point I go around myself. Now it's to the point if I were to fly into the airport, I can organize my own taxi car, Uber, and come home or whatever. You know, I was at that point even before I moved here. I was that familiar with Ghana, you know, where I was going to be, at least the Accra area. You know, I started renting the same Airbnb. I stayed in the same Airbnb like twice off of Spintex Road. Shout outs to all y'all and off Spintex Road for my Ghana folk. And, you know, I took the time to learn landmarks, you know, went into town, went to the malls, went to the markets, you know, that kind of thing, nightlife, beaches, and begin to acclimate myself, you know. It's valuable for you to start compiling that information, okay? Big shout outs to the Spot for Hip Hop TV. Thank you so much. Big shout outs to Lorne Represent for our members only. Kira's Rants, I see you there. Black by popular demand. Hi, family. Mr. Joseph King says, it's good to be aware of cultural differences. It makes your life easy in terms of integrating into a new society. And, you know, the thing is, I know that people, for instance, from, you know, America, they are very, I'll say the West, okay? People from the West are very, very sensitive, you know? So the more you understand about cultural norms, the less personal you're going to take it when you experience certain things, because you will get to know, okay, those are some things that are part of the place that I'm now living. And also, diasporans cannot always take the approach that I'm going to fix Africa. I'm going to fix, you know, everything that they don't like or everything that's not familiar to them. They want it changed. They want it fixed. You know, there are some things that are indigenous to these lands here, and you just got to get used to it if you're going to be living here. You know, period, point blank. If you're going to be living here, get used to it. You know, you can hope for change. You can try to be a vehicle for change and whatnot, but take it as it is for the moment. You know, because a lot of you guys forget there's a lot of problems wherever you was coming from. Hello. You was unhappy in the UK. You was unhappy in America. You was unhappy in Germany. Huh? You was unhappy in Canada, Australia. You wasn't feeling France. Okay? A lot of problems out there. A lot of politics. A lot of racism. A lot of violence. And you couldn't fix those things. And now you're here on the continent and you think all the problems that you see, you want to pick them out. You want to complain. You want to highlight them. It's the wrong way to go, guys. Take a different approach. You want to, for instance, have a transition like mine, you know, where you don't have a lot of hoopla. You don't have a lot of drama. Okay. Then I prepared myself for my move to Ghana. I think some of you guys are completely bizarre that will just pick up and come to a country that you don't know and think that you will matriculate. And I mean, in some rare cases you will, but it's just not highly likely because you're setting yourself in a position that's going to make it very difficult for you to succeed. Okay, you're coming to a new country that you've never been to. You don't know the demographics. You don't know people. You don't know the culture. You don't know the language. You haven't tried the food. You don't understand the music. The climate is different. You don't even know how the system works. The banking, you don't, I mean, you have stacked up the odds of failure against yourself because you have no command of how it works. You know, and I blame, you know, Hollywood or something because a lot of people are just unrealistic. Why would you want to roll the dice and gamble with something so big as migration? Why would you want to take the expense and time and not guarantee your success? Big shout outs, Lady Visionaries with us in Rwanda. She says, same issues here in Rwanda. Diasporans sometimes don't know they have to share the roads with cattle, like driving down the street and you have to wait for the cows to cross the road. Absolutely. I would say live animals, it can be shocking, you know, for people in the diaspora. We really, especially if you're from a city, you definitely, beyond dogs and cats, okay, you don't see wildlife, okay, you don't see billy goats. You know, here in Ghana we have goats. I've seen the cattle Lady Visionaries talking about. In Kenya, that's very popular because of the Maasai. You know, the Maasai will often have these massive herds of cattle. And I mean, I've seen them crossing the freeways, you know, stuff like that. It's something that you will get accustomed to living here. And the thing about it is, unlike the animals, for instance, like America, the dogs, they're very aggressive. They bark and stuff. The animals here be cool. Like they just be minding their own business. You're walking up the street, you see a billy goat, you see a chicken. You know, they're just going up and down the road. They're not worried about you. But that is a cultural difference. Some people might be like, oh my gosh, there's cattle around. You know, sometimes they might come and graze on your property and you're just like, what's going on? Okay, that's a really good one, Lady Visionary. Thank you for bringing that up. Big shout outs to Nikki. I see you there. What's up, Frank? Big shout outs to you. Spot for Hip Hop TV. You know, they have several banks here. I don't have a local bank here in Ghana because I pretty much am still operating from my foreign banks. You know, my funds from my business and my YouTube go into my foreign bank. So, you know, but they do have quite conveniently here Momo, which is electronic money. And basically you can transfer money to people. You can pay at services. Momo is like a major mode of, you know, payments here in Ghana. You set it up with your, you know, your mobile phone and that's how it rolls. But they do have, I know they have some pretty old banks here, you know, like Stanbic Bank, I typically use a bank like their ATM machines called Fidelity, because if you're using foreign cards and stuff, you can't go like some of the smaller banks and stuff. They won't read your card. They won't, be able to access your account. So you'll want to go to the international banks or the big banks, with many branches or things like that. I know Stanbic Bank, I believe they have branches in the UK and stuff like that. So I don't know intricately about the banking system. I have been telling myself I need to set up this Momo, but I just haven't got around to it, to be honest. What's up? Big shout outs to Dcox. Tonight we're talking about diasporans need to prepare themselves for cultural differences. Okay, I have not seen a like count from any of my moderators. Any of you guys with the wrench, please let me know the mod count so that I can open up the call lines and hear from you guys. If we have any people here on the continent, I know, we have Lady Visionary, but if we have any others that want to call in and share some cultural differences about, being here on the continent, things that maybe your peers can be valuable to them, because the more you know, the better prepared you're going to be for your transition here, and that's my wish. I think that we've been through a lot in our Western environments. If you get to the point in your life where you've made the decision to come here, then absolutely, I'm wishing you success. Oh, wow. The family's doing excellent. Thank you guys for being on code. I'm going to now open up the call lines. Big shout outs. D Cox is on her post. Thank you so much. What? Okay. I'm here, guys. I'm here. Don't worry. I'm just trying to get the link in there for you guys. All right. Don't worry. I have returned. I'm back. All right. So tonight we're talking about cultural differences. Okay. You're coming to the continent, anticipate it. Even if you're going to a country that is well developed, you're going to Ghana, you're going to Kenya, you're going to South Africa, or you're going to, Dar es Salaam, you're going to Rwanda. I haven't been to all these places, but I understand that a lot of those are very well developed. You're going to Senegal and stuff like that. Still cultural differences. For some of you guys, religion, might be a big deal. They're wildly religious here on the continent, either, those practicing Islam or those practicing Christianity. It's a big deal here. Most of y'all that are moving here are going to be like Pan-Africans. So when you come here to the continent, you're wanting that Marcus Garvey feel. You're wanting that Malcolm X feel. And you come here and you see the people here on the continent, a lot of them are completely devoid of knowledge about what we're experiencing. We're trying to leave there. We're trying to get out of there, and they're eager to go. That's a cultural difference. Understanding that we have dealt with a lot of racism, and we might be bitter about it. We might be upset about it. We might be like, I don't mess with white people. I don't chill with them. But that's not how our counterparts here on the continent see it. Cultural differences. We Pan-Africans believe in the capability of our own people. We're here. We're like, okay, I want to do my own thing. A lot of our people here believe in the West. Western products, Western clothes, Western music. It's a cultural difference. Don't come here ill prepared and then get mad at the people here. You know, educate yourself, arm yourself with knowledge of the place that you're going. You know, and if you're smart, you're going to listen to those of us that have gone ahead of you. You know, we're not just here talking on YouTube and social media because we like the sound of our voice. You know, a lot of us want to provide the resources because we've already been through our transition and we're like, okay, you know what? This is vital information that can help somebody else making this transition, because I wish I would have knew this, or I went through that, or blah, blah, blah. You know, you can prevent some mishaps from happening, and you can be aware of some experiences because you've learned from other people. You know, I remember a video that I saw from Native Born. You know, when Native Born came, you know, and moved to Ghana, one of the things they talked about was renting a property. You know, they talked about, you know, they wanted, when they first came, they thought they might buy and all that kind of stuff, but they decided, okay, you know what, let's get a feel for the community and stuff. That was very vital, because a lot of our people are coming straight from the West, and they're in this like, I want to buy land, I want to build, and it's like, you don't even know the place where you are right now. Okay, you haven't even spent a calendar in that place. You know, what if you bought land and you thought you got a great deal on it, only for rainy season to come, and then you realize that your land is like a wetland. So for 3 months out the year, 4 months out the year, however long rainy season is, you can't even access your property because of the weather patterns. You see? Don't be hasty in what you're doing. You know, be wise in what you're doing. Exercise S&P, strategy, maturity, and patience. You know, I know also another cultural difference, big shout outs to all my antisocial people out there. Another cultural difference here on the continent is that people will speak to you. They will greet you. Actually, here in Ghana, they will greet you according to the time of day. Okay, so if it's the morning, it's good morning. Okay, that's up to 12 o'clock, which starts afternoon. And the evening starts around 4-ish, I guess. That's what I've come up with. Okay, so if people are calling you, they won't even start having a conversation with you until they do a little conversation, they do a little small talk and all that stuff. Okay, D Cox calls me here in Ghana, she'll start the conversation with good evening, how are you? Are you okay? And then we start. For some of you people, that's annoying because you just want to start your conversation. Hello. And I know when I first came, if you try to ignore, like if someone said good evening to you and you don't acknowledge it back, they'll just repeat it until you say it back. So you pick up the phone, you say hello, they say good evening. You're like, yeah, I need this. They'll say, oh, good evening. Again, cultural differences, because see, in the West, people don't greet you. They don't even acknowledge you. They don't even say hello or anything. So we're not always groomed for that. You know? So big shout out to the family. I've opened up the call lines. You guys are watching me like a statue. And, you know, I've kind of said what I want to say about this topic. I just want to make sure I'm doing my share to encourage you guys to get prepared for this movement. What's up, Michelle on a mission? Representing Egypt. Hey, I saw that breakfast you was making today on Instagram. Michelle on a mission was making her little Arabic breakfast in Egypt today. It did look tasty though. Big shout out to Michelle on a mission representing in Egypt. So big shout outs to her. Yes. So yes, I mean it's nice. It's manners. You know, at the end of the day, that's how it should be. You know, and that might actually be something that you hate about the West. You know, I hated being invisible. I hate people not acknowledging. I hate people that just don't even like have a salutation before they start talking to you or asking you for something or things like that. It's so rude. But the thing is, like, we've been removed. You know, that's another thing. We have been removed from the continent. There's so many things that we don't know. You know, we have been removed. And unfortunately, guys, those of us that are trailblazing, a lot of the burden of this reconnection and this movement is coming down on us because we're the first ones to do it. You know, we're catching a lot of slack from our friends and family. You know, I just had a back and forth with my mom today about Thanksgiving. You know, she's asking me if I'm doing Thanksgiving here in Ghana. And I'm like, no. You know, which of course she knows that, but she just, you know, wants to be like a bit provocative. You know, and a lot of us are going through, you know, silent battles and obstacles and friction to try to forge this reconnection. You know, it's going to be tough. It's going to be painful. We might feel like we're in over our heads sometimes. We're just like, what am I doing? Am I doing the right thing? But you see, that is how it is for the leaders and for the visionaries and the you know, the trailblazers. We go before everybody else and we create the path. Then those coming behind us, the transition, you know, I say even 2-3 years from now, the way people will transition from the West to the continent, if it's still available, because you know they are trying to shut down us being able to come here. But anyway, if it's still available in a couple years, the way people migrate is going to be a lot more streamlined than it is here 2021 than it was in 2020. Those people that migrated 10 years ago, you know what I'm saying, they really didn't have no game plan out here. And social media wasn't big back then, so they didn't even have the benefit of seeing other people doing it. I mean, people that are coming now to the continent completely ignorant, they can only really blame themselves, because with the advent of social media, there's no reason why you can't get a little bit of insight into your transition. You know, I mean, I just refuse to believe that. There's so much content now about the continent. A simple Google search will start showing you visuals, people, YouTube channels, TikTok, Instagrams, you know, resources, tour guides, all kind of stuff. You know, a little Wikipedia search is going to say, okay, Nigeria is this. Their Independence Day was here. Their national language is this. You know, the main dish, blah, blah, blah. Population. You know, classified as West Africa. You know, going to give you a little bit of the history. Educate yourself, guys. Okay, educate yourself. All right, well, I have talked a lot, so the family is quiet. I did put the link in there if anybody wanted to contribute to this topic, but I'm going to go ahead and wrap up now. I appreciate all the viewers today. Please make sure you have liked the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not yet subscribed. Also, please feel free to support this platform, support my ongoing music project. Still trying to get the funds together for the second music video. I know some of you guys are waiting, but unfortunately, crickets. So I'm trying to do what I can do. I've already kind of let you guys know these kind of things are very, very expensive. So I'm just trying to do my best. But big shout out to the Afrikansuperstar family. Also, all our contact details are scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Make sure you stop by the afrikansuperstar.com for your upcoming Christmas needs. Holla. Shop with me. Put your orders in earlier than later. That way you can receive them in time for holidays, okay? So big shout out to the African Superstar family. Until we meet again, stay black and true. If you ain't black, just stay true.